we need to talk Taylor Swift. But first, a reminder, I am a hardcore Swiftie, an OG fan from the very beginning. So I loved that she spelled out "Thank You, Amy," how she used to write the CD booklets in code. That brought back so many memories. If you missed it, yesterday, Booker and I released an emergency Patreon podcast sharing our initial thoughts of the Tortured Poets Department. Check that out if you haven't yet. And it seems like a lot of you have streamed or bought Taylor Swift's new album. According to early numbers, it is projected to be the biggest debut of her career, moving over 2 million units its first week. What? And she's nearly 20 years into her career, in a league of her own. And, spoiler alert, I don't love the new album. I don't hate it. Listen to my review for all of the exact thoughts on our Patreon. But I'm a crazy person. I cannot be enamored with the Tortured Poets Department and still love Taylor Swift. I do. I'm a crazy person. My podcast co-host has made fun of me because I truly believe that Taylor Swift is like family to me. I've watched her grow up, and I consider her to be someone that will always be in my life and that I will always love, even if we have disagreements, like family. And while I shared my review yesterday, today I saw this review and a few others. And I think this album is the first that's not universally loved by critics. But you know what? That's okay. Because I don't think Taylor Swift made this album for the critics or even the mainstream fans. She made it for herself. She said she needed to make it. And she also probably made it for the hardcore Swifties. But she also still wants to sell a lot. There are a ton of versions out there. This vinyl, that vinyl, the double-sided version. She likes the money and breaking the records, and I respect that. And I want to read some of these reviews because on social media, it can feel like an echo chamber at times. And I was starting to think, am I crazy? Am I really in the minority? But no. In fact, the New Yorker says, quote, Taylor Swift has reached a level of virtuosity within her genre that feels nearly immutable. She's too practiced, too masterly to swing and really miss. But her new album, The Tortured Poets Department, mostly about the utter unreliability of love, how bonkers it is that we build our entire lives around a feeling that can simply dissipate, suffers from being too long and too familiar. I said that. The new songs suggest that after a decade, her partnership with Jack Antonoff has perhaps run its course. I said that too. The very respected, extremely reputable New York Times says, nearly 20 years into her career, Taylor Swift is more popular and prolific than ever, with 5 new albums plus 4 re-recorded ones since 2019 and a record-breaking world tour. What Taylor Swift reveals on her sprawling and often self-indulgent 11th LP, The Tortured Poets Department, is that this stretch of productivity and commercial success was also a tumultuous time for her emotionally. Over 16 songs and a second LP, the pop superstar litigates her recent romances, but the theme and familiar sonic backdrops generate diminishing returns. On The Tortured Poets Department, Taylor Swift could use an editor. Translation, it's bloated and lacks a lot of impact because of that. And because of the familiarity of the sound and the sameness. And NME magazine says the Pop Titans' 11th studio album is a rare misstep. Arriving at the peak of Taylor Swift's imperial phase, the Tortured Poets Department, her 10th release, including live albums and re-recordings in 4 years, is surprisingly flat and at times cringeworthy. Paste magazine says Taylor Swift is the most famous musician and arguably person on earth, but on the Tortured Poets Department, she can't help but infantilize the very people who buy into her music and drive her success upwards in the first place. But Taylor Swift is critically acclaimed, has won 3 Grammy of the Year awards. She don't care what critics say. I mean, maybe she does. She's also loved by millions upon millions of people all over the world. She's good. And she can handle me being not disappointed, but still feeling underwhelmed with her new album. Now I'm curious, what do you think of the Tortured Poets Department? Let me know in the comments section.